Welcome to 5 Points of Articulation, where I review action figures and then articulate 5 points to help you decide if you want to add that figure to your collection. The 5 points I discuss are packaging, presentation, posability, playability, and price. I'm Jason, and if you enjoy my content, please like, share, subscribe, do all the YouTube rigmarole. So I went to my local Target looking for the new DC Multiverse Batman Beyond and maybe some of the Marvel Legends superhero villains, but instead, booyah! I found some Justice League figures. Believe it or not, this is actually the very first Cyborg figure I've ever bought, which is strange to me because I love Cyborg. I loved him on the Teen Titans cartoon, and even though he didn't have a lot of footage, I really liked him in the 2017 version of Justice League. Imagine my surprise to see what an incredible expanded role he had in the Snyder Cut. I'm still not entirely sold on that crinkly aluminum foil baked potato costume that they put him in. Even so, I'm pretty excited to take this baked potato over to my review station and dig in. Starting off with the packaging, and this is the third box in the Justice League wave I've looked at, so I don't really have much more to say about it, but here's the barcode for those who want it. Other than that, for packaging, I'm giving Cyborg 1 whole point. Moving on to presentation, and Cyborg stands at 7 1/4 inches. The likeness to Ray Fisher is absolutely perfect. I'd go so far as to say it's the best actor likeness that McFarlane has ever done. No matter how you feel about this design, you have to admit it's been executed perfectly. Just look at all of this fine detailing. The shoulder pauldrons are a nice soft plastic, which is great for posability, but moving them back you can see all of the tubes. Flipping them around, and again, the intricacy is just mind-blowing. And there's also a lot of good layering to it. I love the pistons coming out of the triceps. It reminds me a lot of the Terminator. I know I joked about him looking like a baked potato, but the truth is that this style does make him very visually distinct, and all these angles make him kind of uncomfortable to look at, which I think was kind of part of the point. But the main thing I want to draw your attention to is all of the paint work. The only reason we're able to appreciate this magnificent sculpt is because of all of that wonderful black wash bringing those details out. The only criticism of the paint job I have is this red coming off of his chest. I know it's supposed to be an energy effect, but it kind of looks more like a blood smear. Turn on your heart light, let it shine wherever you go. Let it make a happy glow. Care Bear! Stare! Oh, and do me a favor and don't ask me why I have these. When I look at this action figure, I am not seeing a toy of Cyborg. All I'm seeing is Cyborg. For presentation, Cyborg most definitely gets 1 whole point. Moving on to posability, and we've got a lot to discuss. First things first, Cyborg's head is on a dumbbell joint. He looks up a lot, which is great because he's a flying character, and he can also really bury the chin. Fantastic head tilt, and all the way around. Thanks to this soft rubber piece, he can move his arm really high up, front and back with the butterfly cup, and all the way around. Bicep swivel is also not at all hindered by this shoulder piece, but then we get to the elbow, which I know will be a bone of contention for a lot of you, and that's because it is only single jointed. When you consider how skinny his elbow is, and the overall design, I don't know that they could have really done it differently. To be honest, it's a lot like how McFarlane handled the Necron warrior from Warhammer, but honestly, I really think this is fine. To me, the more important thing are these wrists. Instead of a big ugly ball for a wrist, we have a good old-fashioned swivel hinge. Same thing for the feet. They swivel around and hinge up and down, and they look great while doing it. Moving on to the diaphragm, and I assumed at this point was going to get in the way, but it's actually a flexible piece just like the shoulder pauldrons. Using just a diaphragm, you can arch back that much and hunch forward that much. But of course he does have movement at the waist, and that does help out as well. Word of warning though, this diaper piece really likes to float around a lot, and if you're not careful, you can get some really serious gaps. But once again, it does give us a really good opportunity to look at the engineering. Hello in there! Oh, and on the subject of the diaper piece, Captain America doesn't have anything to worry about. Poor guy. But back to the waist, of course, it spins all the way around, hinges that far forward, then arches that far back. And again, poor guy. Moving down to his hips, and he can practically do the splits. We also get a bit of twisting, but then we get down to the knees, and once again we have to have another difficult conversation. As you may have guessed, they too are only single jointed. But then we get down to the ankles, which more than makes up for it. Front, back, and perfect ankle pivot. Oh yeah, and toe articulation too. McFarlane Toys, if you are listening, please do all of your wrists and ankles like this. This is perfect. And you know what? So's the rest of the articulation. Double jointed elbows and knees be damned. For posability, I'm giving Cyborg 1 whole point. Side note, there's a spider crawling on my ceiling above the review station, and I'm not entirely sure what to do about it. Like, there he is, and there we are. And since this is a cruelty-free YouTube channel, the spider has been caught, and there he goes, the fastest man on 8 legs. Moving on to playability, and Cyborg comes with this arm cannon, and it took me forever to figure out how to put it on him. I kept pulling on the hands, but they weren't budging, and then I finally realized it doesn't pop off at the hand. It pops off at the whole forearm. It seems a little small, but it is nicely sculpted and very nicely painted. Considering how many McFarlane toys don't come with any accessories, the arm cannon is a nice touch, and to be honest, I think it would have felt incomplete without it. Honestly, I'm just grateful it came with this figure and wasn't its own chase variant. And hey, just think of all the fun you can have using this to reenact Terminator 2. Today we're going to keep things simple and just focus on the other 2 figures in the wave. So here's Cyborg, side-by-side Superman, and the Flash. Not gonna lie, Superman looks kinda runty by comparison. Putting Cyborg and the Flash together in particular really highlights just what a difference a good wash can make. There probably aren't that many other sets you can put this figure in, but he wasn't made for other sets. He was made for this set, and not only does he fit in perfectly, so far, he's the best figure of the wave. For playability, I'm giving Cyborg 1 whole point. This leaves us with nothing left to discuss but the price. I picked up Cyborg at Target for $20, which I think is a great value for what you're getting, but I also think it's more than that. With Cyborg, I don't think it's just a matter of what you're getting, it's also a matter of what this figure represents. Ezra Miller was great in the Snyder Cut, but we're going to see him again in his own solo Flash movie. Henry Cavill was great in both the Snyder Cut and the Joss Whedon version, and even though his future's up in the air, we still have Man of Steel and Batman v Superman. Cyborg was the emotional center of the Snyder Cut, but because of behind-the-scenes drama, Ray Fisher has been fired from the role, making this figure very special. A fantastic representation of a fantastic performance that we will tragically never see again. For price, I'm giving Cyborg 1 whole point for a grand total of 5 out of 5. Now, I hope you've enjoyed this look at the McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Snyder Cut Cyborg. Thank you so much for watching. I'll be back again real soon, but until then, play nice and have fun.